Big news today as the original dog with a hat has just sold for $790,000. If you guys don't remember the dog with a hat meme, you guys will probably remember Whiff, right? Whiff was the first major runner of this cycle and it made a lot of people a lot of money. I'm actually very surprised it didn't sell for more. In fact, there were people like exploiting the thing. Somebody listed for like 21 million tokens, which is the entire Bitcoin supply. But this is it, like it's dog with a hat. If you guys don't remember, dog with a hat is literally this meme. The dog wears a hat. And this specific hat has now sold for $790,000 to Finn. So GG's Finn, congratulations. You bought $1 billion hat for just 700,000. To me, that's a huge discount. I know a lot of people were very shocked. It was like, how could it sell for this? But if you guys don't remember, there was a thing like a banana on a wall, right? I think this thing sold for about $1 million, just a banana on a wall. Yeah, it actually sold for 6.2 million. A banana on a wall sold for 6.2 million to Justin Sun. If you guys remember, Justin Sun is this guy, right? The guy behind Tron, right? So if a banana on a wall can sell for 6.2 million, I think the hat from Dog with a Hat for 700 grand is a discount, especially considering the fees to purchase this hat was actually from this hat token here, BTH, buy the hat token, which is currently set at about 4.5 million. Now, they have actually decided to make this token one of the main tokens of the Bags app. So if you're bullish on the Bags ecosystem, hey, buy that hat is probably undervalued right here, as it did have a little bit of a sell at the news event. And at the end of this video, I'm going to go through some of my tokens that I'm looking at and also some of my plays. And if you're new here, maybe it's your first time watching live, or maybe you're watching this after, smash a like on this video. I appreciate every single one of you. We're on our road to 100,000 subscribers right now as well, which is absolutely insane. I started the year with like, what, 10,000 subscribers? We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. This channel's gone absolutely crazy. And I'm always trying to make new and unique and different styles of content for you guys. I'm not just going to stick to one thing. This video here is going to be more like a complete news and analysis video. So I'm going to cover pretty much everything that I'm currently looking at in the market. And then we have a live chat here as well, which is going to ask questions at the end of this video on anything else that I have thoughts on before we get into some live trading for you guys as well. It's probably not going to be in the video after if you're watching this as well. Now, speaking about ecosystems, if we have a look at the ecosystems as a whole here, you'll actually see that Pump Fund has regained the #1 spot. And if you remember from some of our older videos, I've been a big advocate of Pump Fund, but I'm also a big advocate on just betting on new and emerging ecosystems. I'll always bid where people are not focusing, because I was receiving a lot of FUD for backing Pump Fund at the literal Pico bottom and also longing and buying a significant amount spot. That turned out to be an amazing trade. It's going to continue to be so as well, especially as we get onto some more of the information that Pump Fund have actually announced as well. Now you do see Let's Bonk at 25% market share as well. Bags at #3 with 17.9. That's obviously after all of the Whiff stuff. They received a lot of mind share. There was also 2 major tokens on Bags as well, coming from the Nyan owner. So if you guys do remember Nyan, this was actually a major token in the meme coin space. And what ended up happening is Nyan became one of the biggest memes. And now the fees from this token go to the Nyan owner. And there's 2 specific tokens that you should probably be looking at when it comes to this token. Because guys, a lot of new people in this space, especially if you're new and you only started in the trenches, you don't understand how big and significant this specific moment is, right? This is huge. Nyan being the main runner, I think it can go to Deca Millions. Like, I have no doubt at all that this can go to Deca Millions. But there's also another token which is completely oversold right now. Like, it's absolutely insane. I think I'm down like fucking 60% on this one as well. Let me see if it's on here. It should be on here for 24-hour volume. Bad Dog. It's actually doing more volume. It's had $7 million of volume. It's currently sat at only 600K right now. Now, Bad Dog is the first post that was actually on the response. So when you look at this token here, the reason why Nyan pumped a lot was because of this response right here. So if you look underneath this post 15 hours ago, the owner of Nayan, who I don't know if he owns the IP, I don't know if he does IP, but he made the art. He actually says, after I posted this yesterday, someone created a coin around it. Meaning bad dogs, right? Nayan being like an OG, like way before. I have no input on the launch, and I still don't know who did it. But I'm mentioning it because for once, a portion of the fees actually reached me, which none of the hundreds of other coins that use my art in the past ever did. I also want to address the message that I've been getting sent, including me. I've been spamming this guy. You guys probably see me on Twitter. I've been spamming him hard. And I apologize if he sees this, but bro, when your bags are down, bro, sometimes you gotta get your elbow. You gotta put some elbow grease. You gotta get your hands dirty, right? And he says here, some have been kind, but others have been mean or damaging or demanding, right? And in my opinion, like, look, you're gonna be demanding, right? Because if the owner of the art has made like $200,000 and it's from your trades, then if you're endorsing this and you're profiting from this, then at least give clarity to it. Like, just say, hey guys, these are the 2 coins I'm speaking about. Done. And then we have clarity on it, and the trenches can do what the trenches want to do, right? The market can accept it. But if there's no clarity, then that creates tons of crazy stuff. Like, it happens at any scale. You even see it in the macro when you're talking about Trump and the tariffs, right? Whenever there's any uncertainty in a market, there is going to be a mess, an absolute mess, because you can't gain conviction in what you're actually doing, because naturally the markets, we don't trust nobody, right? You guys know the shit can go south real quick. It says here, if the goal is truly to be charitable, the energy should reflect that, right? This is actually a good point. I'm staying cautious, and this isn't an endorsement, but I do appreciate being included in some way. The royalties will help my family, and a portion will go back to a good cause. Thank you. Exactly, right? If you are doing this, if you are responding to people, if you're profiting from this, then just endorse the tokens, man. It's not that deep. People will do whatever they want to do, but just endorse the tokens, right? And that's basically what I said here. You can see here, it's actually made 58,000 from this thing. So like, this bag stuff is not a game. What bags are doing right now is very unique, and it's working very well to add them to a percentage of market share. And the market is definitely reflecting that. Okay. So then the major runners on bags, you've got Bad Dog and you've got Nayan. Me, I'm very heavily positioned in Bad Dog. I bought 1%. And Nayan, I actually just scalped it. I actually scalped it because originally when this all popped off, there wasn't much clarity, but the price was going insane. I'm sure you guys remember, if you was actually trading this thing, everyone, Gakey, Powell, Profit, everybody was just blasting this chart. And then you had a bunch of people who were in early, like one of the guys that was actually running this token is in the trenches of all the places. He messaged me after the fact and was like, bro, I've just made a fucking bag. You could see these people blasting like out of this token initially. It was very, very volatile, but now at least there is some level of clarity, and there is, the fact that the market has accepted this. 45 million actually on Nayan and 7 million on Bad Dog. Yeah, even though it has half the volume, no, actually not half the volume, it's got like a quarter of the volume, actually reflects the price pretty well. Okay, even though it has like significant volume, it's still set at such a low market cap. So I think Bad Dog extremely undervalued as well. And obviously you have Nayan as well. And there is PvP between the two. I'm not too sure actually which one I actually cover, but there's PvP between the two. There's like 2. One of them's heavily bundled, the other one isn't. Okay, now if we have a look at the overall market, you'll also know there's another ecosystem that I'm extremely bullish on, and that is Jupiter. Jupiter, you can actually see their main token right now is outperforming the entire market, right? Let me repeat this. It's outperforming the entire fucking market. Now, I actually announced this inside of my Telegram. And if you're not a part of my Telegram, you can put !TG if you're in the live chat right now, or you can just have a look in the link in the description inside of Telegram as well. And you will actually see that this is the best token out of the major meme coins. You can see Uranus, enter Uranus, top 24 gains amongst the top 30 Solana meme coins by a wide margin. And there's a little reason for this as well. You can see we've outperformed Mori, Dog, UFD, Aura, Launchcoin, Pop, Mew, and Ponky by a landslide, 56% in a single day. Absolutely insane. Now, the reason for this is because of the founder of Jupiter, who's also a shareholder of Meteora and Moonshot as well. And he also was a part of the early days, you're talking about the prehistoric age of crypto, for wrapped Bitcoin. Yes, wrapped fucking Bitcoin. This guy is an OG to OGs, right? You guys call me unks. Nah, Meow is the OG unks, right? And inside of the Uranus community, he made this announcement about 19 hours ago. This is why you should join communities, by the way. Communities are very important for gaining information. Information is everything in crypto. If you've seen this and you got a bag, you would have instantly been up 40%. It's insane how important information is. And he said here, I've been working behind the scenes with Uranus CTO team on securing the creator LP position. Happy to share it now it's completed and the position is now inside of our custody. So one of the big issues on the Jupiter ecosystem, which they have now been starting to solve, is the fact that once you do a CTO, you can't transfer those creator fees. Now that creates a big divide because you have some random guy who made the token, who's market selling, was not actually market selling. He's just, cashing out his Solana fees, right, from the token he made. And the founder of this Uranus token made like $250,000 for basically free. So the teams were very upset because you can use that money to get listings, you can use it for marketing. And if you've been following me on Twitter, I'm a very big advocate of having a treasury or a marketing wallet for a meme coin. A lot of people don't really understand it, but if you look at every major token, I'm talking about tokens that run way past 100 million, they have some type of investment, whether that's the top holders or whether that is obviously a marketing or treasury wallet. It helps a lot. It helps for providing liquidity for the token. It also helps for marketing as well because people need to be paid. If you think about it like this, right? You have a company, you have a business. That business doesn't have any money, that business can't survive. But if you have a treasury, you can list on centralized exchanges. You can go to a Binance, for example. You can pay them a couple $1 million. Yes, a couple $1 million to get listed. You can go and you can do IRL campaigns. You can pay influencers. There's so many things. And yes, meme coins don't necessarily need that, but it's a major bonus. And it really helps for larger investors. When you have an investor who's contemplating putting in $250,000, $500,000 into a fucking meme coin, right? He needs some level of conviction, right? It says here, the Uranus community will have ongoing funds moving forward to execute on making Uranus a mainstream play. Exactly what we were just talking about. And the position will be perma-locked, removing a previous point of concern about the LP positions being an issue. Let's lock in and spread Uranus creatively.
What did he say?
Right. PS, this is public service announcement 1. It was amazing getting this done. And then these are the key figures. I recommend going ahead and giving these guys a follow. They have nowhere near enough followers. You guys will know like the guys with like sub 10, 20, 30,000 followers are normally the guys with alpha inside of Twitter. So much alpha you're going to get from these guys, especially having conviction at the lows, and you can literally just fucking DM them. That's the beautiful part about these micro accounts, right? It says learning so much from them every single day. And public service 2, the creator was very understanding, which is a surprise as well. And it was a pleasure working with them on a win-win solution. Major focus for me will be we'll be able to create that in a more systematic way, right? Guys, run this up. Over 186,000 views on this tweet, 395 retweets. This went absolutely viral. And then you can see the token, the Uranus token in itself, is performing amazingly ever since. Now, my personal price targets for Uranus is about 134 million. That's in the short term. I'm talking in the next few days. For me personally, it doesn't necessarily mean it is a thing, not financial advice. It's for entertainment, educational purposes, of course. If you're taking random advice on investments from a random guy on YouTube, it's probably not the best decision to do. Always seek a licensed financial advisor, right? And my personal next target after that is probably going to be 300 million because I do look at this as being a Binance token. Like, I don't know what it is, but I've got good instincts. And I always tend to trust my instincts, and I can just see Uranus USDT on Binance. I don't know if I'll be there in the token that long because I have a good size in this thing, but I do want to see that for the holders. I really want to see that for the holders. I really want to see it for the Jupiter ecosystem. I want to see that for fucking Meow. This guy's worked very hard for this specific token. So go take a look at this Uranus coin, and you can also look at the LP as well on Meteora. Meteora is something which people do not really understand. I'm going to do a specific video on it, but you can get like 2 to 5% a day for this. And in a bank account, you're getting 2% in a year for these types of things. So it's something that you should definitely look at. And I think a lot of people avoid larger market caps, but if you haven't noticed yet, the whales are not on low market caps. I'm down like fucking 35K on just low market caps and all the speed and degeneracy which is happening right now. and without copy traders, actually very, very hard. I was anti-believing in copy traders, but I'll speak about that at the end. Actually very hard to profit on these things. But with these tokens, they're so stable, and you can scalp them. You can go for like 145% trades. Okay, you can hold them long term and be confident in your position as well. And you can just really be more calculated with these larger market cap tokens. And you can tell that we're getting towards the end of the cycle, because that's where a lot of the whales are now starting to move, right? Now, speaking about that, it's not just me that agrees with this. The top 100 holders of Uranus are also increasing their balances. In the past 30 days, their balances have increased 51%, right? And they are now holding half the supply of Uranus. The whales are loading up. This is what you want to see when you talk about smart money and when you're talking about whale tokens. You can see that large wallets are continuing to accumulate. It's a good thing. You don't want to see it where large wallets are getting out and then you're getting in. Nansen AI is something which is very important, and it's a great account to follow on Twitter, because they're going to give you analysis on smart money, and you can also analyze the smart money yourself on the site. You can go through top holders. You can really break down a lot of these coins, and normally, obviously, the smart money are smart. They outperform the rest of the market. So if you follow these guys, it tends to be a very, very, very good thing to do, right? Now, onto the larger market, right? You'll also know that, well, you've been plugged in, there's a 91% chance of rate cuts in September. This is fucking huge. This is what the market has been waiting for. But in my opinion, I do think that this is being front run. Anytime there is a positive or significant event that is starting to be predicted, it tends to get priced in. And I do believe we are now seeing that inside the market, which is the reason why Bitcoin right now is extremely, extremely bullish, right? BTC actually faked everybody out towards the downside. And as rate cuts became more of a guarantee, we have bounced, and we are probably going to be looking for the next level, which is 160,000. Now, I do think that this is going to be a top for me personally. It's going to be where I'll probably be entering stables again. And guys, whenever a DJ like me enters stables, it's probably something to take seriously. I'm a very risk averse person. Well, actually, risk averse. I like taking risks. I don't really mind. I genuinely don't really mind taking risks. But I know that once we get to this 160K level, I do think that the top is going to be in September or November for Bitcoin specifically. I don't know if that's going to be the case for altcoins. Altcoins are lagging right now, so they might actually continue towards the end of November. But as you can see, we have a clear trigger wave right here on the daily. We also bounced off this support right here. It looks like we're going to be moving towards the upside. I know the chart's a little bit small. It's in black and white, but I just like looking at charts in black and white. I don't like being emotional. If you've seen this red candle right here, it would have shook a lot of people out, but it didn't shake me out, right? Now, one of the trades that I am looking at that I haven't spoke about a lot is actually Uniswap. I do think Uniswap is going to be a token for you to be keeping an eye on right now, because if we look at Uniswap, we have been inside of this symmetric pattern right here, right? This channel, and you can see we have literally held to pitch perfection. Whatever market maker is drawing this chart right now is drawing a Mona Lisa, right? And if you think about it, last time we had a major rally, it was all about Solana. And when Solana has the volume, what we did was we looked at the aggregators, Jupiter, and Jupiter performed very, very well. Well, this time round, we're going to be looking at Ethereum, right? We know that BlackRock are buying a significant amount of Ethereum. That means to me that Ethereum is probably going to do well. Now, what are they all transacting in on Ethereum? Well, the main volume on Ethereum is stable coins. How do you transact and swap a stable coin for a shit coin? You use Uniswap, right? So that is one of the things that's really starting to get me extremely bullish. And a lot of people haven't even used Uniswap. I'll tell you, I used Uniswap recently. It's very good. You can use Uniswap on Solana, on Ethereum. You can use Uniswap as well on BNB. I think you can even use it on some other ones as well, like some other random chains, of the thousands of chains that we've bloody got right now. But the main ones that are doing well, ETH and BNB, which are also approaching all-time highs, right? This is the main aggregator. And that's the reason why you have seen it show so much strength. We actually bounced perfectly off the middle of the channel. I just had to add this to my chart today because I didn't even spot that myself. You can see the strength that we're showing right here. Now, if you look at the history of Uniswap, this token is extremely volatile, right? And when it goes up, it goes up, right? Same thing as when it goes down, right? But I do think we are probably going to start to see the top side target on Uniswap about $44. And if we do have a major bull market, this is probably the next token to put in an all-time high. Now, remember, guys, when I was speaking about the pump fund trade, which I'm going to break down for you now, it was about being positioned when nobody's talking about it. You're not going to see people speaking about these charts on Twitter. You're not going to see people speaking about these charts on YouTube. They're the best charts, boys, right? Because when people start speaking about it, that's your time to start exiting the trades, right? Speaking about a chart that nobody wants to talk about, look how beautiful this reversal from the lows was for pump fund. Now, I took a lot of time on this pump fund trade. I made about $15,000 on it, lost $8,000, and then I longed $5,000 on a little bit less leverage from about here, from about 27, which you'll be able to see inside the trenches. We'll get onto that later. My predictions for pump fund is for this to be the hyper liquid now of this ecosystem, right? Now, before you get into the gas of, oh, influencers, it's bearish. No, I was the first person to be mega bearish on pump fund when they were speaking about doing the airdrop and when they were speaking about the ICO. I said to you guys, ICOs for me have always been bearish. I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, arguably millions of dollars from these ICOs, simply because they are always underperforming the market. Too much supply, not enough demand. It's like buying a token on an Elon tweet that everybody's already sniped. There's so much sell pressure, it just doesn't work out. However, what we noticed when pump fund was at the lows, if you look at these little boxes here, do these little brown boxes, each of these boxes is when Pun started doing the buybacks. Now, we actually run this buybacks on my YouTube channel live. I tracked all of the buyback wallets and you can actually see when they were doing it. Now, this was public information, right? June was tracking this. There was a few Twitter accounts and analysis tracking this as well. And it gave me a clear indicator that Pump Fund are here to stay because they wouldn't be buying $1 million of their token if they wanted to exit. Doesn't make sense. They would have just exited the market, blamed somebody else and kept it moving, right? Instead, they continued to do buybacks. And you can see every time they have done buybacks has been the bottom. They did buybacks here. They did buybacks here, they did buybacks here, and they did buybacks at the lows. These have historically been bottoms for the chart. And you can even see it now. It looks like they're going to be legging up. Now, there are clear resistance levels. We have the point of control from the original dip that we had right here. Point of control being the highest volume of where tokens trading. And we are pretty much tapping that level exactly. We tapped just below it right here, okay? And then you can see that we have rejected from this level. Now, this is where a lot of people have been going long. It's where a lot of people are going to make mistakes. In my opinion, pump fund, pump token, I don't think it's the best leverage token to trade because it is extremely volatile. If we look on the 45-minute candle, you'll see after they made the announcement of, I'm going to tell you actually that the significant liquidity announcement, we've seen that it dropped about 8%, right? Almost over 10%. You would have been liquidated if you tried to front run a breakout right here as well. You would have lost literally everything. A liquidation, for those of you guys that are new trading, is not the thing which you want to be doing often because it means you have to make another 100% of what you lose. If you put $5,000 on a trade, you get liquidated, you lose that whole $5,000. It is gone, right? And then that means you have to make $10,000 right, on a $5,000 trade just to break even, okay? Now, in my opinion, it is an amazing spot token. I've been DCA in Pump Fund every single day. I put like, here I did a $5,000 trade from the bottom because obviously this is a good support level. Then I also put a $45,000 spot here. I took profit here, $15,000. But I also have been buying $2,000 a day of this token. I'm extremely bullish on this token, right? Extremely bullish because my personal price targets for Pump Fund might shock you. My personal price targets for Pump Fund is about up here at 0.014, right? The reason for this is because I think it's significantly undervalued. And even though it might be volatile in the short term, we could come down and go up and whatever. I think by the top of the market, coming into this August, September range, we are going to be seeing this thing peaking at all-time highs. Because if you guys remember, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it here, right? Pump Fund did $10 million daily revenue peak euphoria. If we reach even half of that peak euphoria again, we are talking significant buybacks in the whole entire ecosystem, right? See if we get earnings, right? Something like this. I don't think we're gonna be able to find it, right? But yeah, $10 million at the time of Trump and these other tokens. If we see that on the Pun chart, it's gonna get absolutely insane. Now, Pun also announced something yesterday, right? And they actually announced that Pump Fund are going to be doing significant, I don't even know if I can say the J word, right? But they're going to be injecting significant liquidity into the ecosystem, right? This means pump fund majors are going to be getting a lot of attention. Now, if you want to front run this, you can't really front run it now. You'll probably wait for a dip and then get positioned. The best thing to do is go to jup.ag, go over to the Jupiter, the pump fund ecosystem, and just sort it by market cap or either volume, right? You can also use another website as well called Moby Screener. This one's it's probably going to be the next deck screener right now as well. It tracks a lot of smart money. Okay. And then you can actually look over here and you're going to see if it has a little pill next to it. These tokens have been performing very, very well. You have Tobacco, right? Tobacco, which is currently about 40 million right now. And it's been blasting off. In fact, actually on the announcement, this thing's up 45% in the past 24 hours. Okay. You also have USDC on stablecoin, right? Which is also at 29 million. Okay. The list goes on, right? You even have other tokens like Grok Chain, which is an emerging one. You have Troll, which is at 160 million, right? Now, the reason why these tokens are going to probably continue to do well for majors especially, which is why it's probably a good thing to chart these tokens and make the 45%, the 50%, etc. with size. It's simply because we're injecting the money back into the ecosystem. Now, you guys will remember that pre all of this stuff, what they were doing is they were getting Solana from fees of you trading on Pump Fund, and they were selling that Solana for USDC. It's stablecoin. Now what they're doing is they're putting that money back into the ecosystem. This is the flywheel that everybody's been looking for. It's not on Launchcoin. I'm sorry, but it's just not, right? I don't know what that guy's doing. He's on a yacht. He's in Bali. He's in fucking Thailand. He's buying Birkins, right? He's not locked in, right? He's not locked in. Pump Fund are locked in. They're putting the money back in. They're executing fast. They're executing strategically. And they're just doing it fucking right and transparent. And you can see all of this stuff on chain. They've been blasting all of these charts into absolute infinity. So if you can front run these ones, front run the right communities, you're talking hundreds of millions of market caps. There is probably going to be another $1 billion token as well. And some people are even saying that next $1 billion token might be Troll, which is still a 10x with size from here. And it's pretty good, like 5x or something like this from here. Very, very good in my opinion. Very, very good. Okay. Now, the final thing to discuss is some of my thoughts. Now, I personally think that the Jupiter ecosystem is something to be bidden. I look at the Jupiter ecosystem right now. I see it at 1.9% market share. It doesn't make sense. The Jupiter ecosystem is the aggregator for the whole entire of Solana pretty much. OGs in the space. You're talking one of the best founders in the space as well, openly endorsing their major token, which is only at 53 million. Then you have some of the major CTOs out here being Bubble, some emerging tokens being Lightspeed and Aura, and obviously some other communities as well like Priceless, Asteroid, Kirby, etc. All of these tokens right now, in my opinion, significantly undervalued. If you bid all the Pump Fund coins before they hit major market share, obviously you're starting gains. If you bid Let's Bonk before they flip Pump Fund, gains. Bags when it was only sat at like whatever, like 0.2% market share, gains. Obviously, I think Jupiter deserves to be top 3. So you talk about 18% market share. That's a 10x in market share from here. Doesn't necessarily mean a 10x in price. But if you look at the volume difference, only 22 million on Jup Studio tokens right here. And you see $200 million of volume right here for number 3. Okay. Other ones I do think are irrelevant, right? I also have an idea. Now, you guys will always remember I'm very vocal about my ideas. I don't mind being wrong, but I just like sharing my thoughts. I don't know what it is. When I was at school, I was one of those kids. If we bring it back, I was one of those kids, always just say shit, right? I'd always ask questions. I'd say, but why is it like this? But why? And by doing that, it opens you up to being stupid. It opens you up to being wrong, of course. But you learn a lot more. But it also opens you up to being a little bit more creative, right? We talk about the matrix, breaking the system, all these different things, the wishy-woo-ha stuff that a lot of people say. I think it's true, bro, right? If you just ask questions and don't take things by the book, you'll go a lot further in life personally. That's what I personally think. Now, I know that Jupiter, Meteora, Moonshot, even Believe, right? And Moonit, and basically all the other tokens, Bar Pump and Let's Bonk, all the launch pads, they are the infrastructure of Meteora. And if we go to DeFi Llama, right, we look at the revenue coming into Meteora right now. It's not a joke. It's significant revenue. It's more than Pump Fund was back in the day, right? It's the same situation, again, what we're having with this, but it's something which nobody is even talking about, right? So if we go over here, we look at Solana, we look at the top movers. Meteora, $4.9 million a day. Jupiter, $3.1 million a day, right? These are the two major protocols that we have on Solana right now. Now, the difference between this and Pump Fund, obviously, it is not all specifically meme coin trading, but a lot of it is. And a lot of it's coming from this internet's capital market stuff, charity meta right now as well. And just having the ability to use fees to go back into any type of creative things. And also you can create a launchpad in seconds. I think that Meteora right now, they can do more. They're doing a lot of great stuff right now. They're doing marketing, they're endorsing, they're doing infrastructure, they're helping people, move from one launchpad to another. Great. But I do think that they need to take a leaf out of Pump Fund's book and they need to start injecting significant liquidity back into the major tokens on any launchpad. If you do want to care about this, or you do want to see people have success, you have to start injecting liquidity back into the markets, right? And Meteora are the liquidity masters. That's what what they do, right? Their annualized fees is 1.1 billion right here, right? Their 30-day fees have made 90 million, 7-day fees have made 20 million, right? And they're on their way to peaking. I think that if they do this, you're talking back to $24 million a day, right? I do think you're talking back to serious volume on these tokens, because as somebody that is inside the trenches myself, these major tokens in the Meteora ecosystem, they're dying out, and they're dying out way too fast, right? Way too fast, these major tokens. And it's simply because they don't have enough funding, right? We need funding for launchpads. We need liquidity problems being solved, right? As Meow's already fixing as well. And I really do think if they do that, they can have success. If they don't, I am going to predict that Pump Fund goes back to number one. I do think that Pump Fund's a dark horse. $2.3 million a day. It's only a 2x from here for volume. And we've already seen Pump Fund already go back to number one. So if we start to see major runners again, we're already seeing the trenches heating up again. We're seeing $2 to $5 million runners on Pump. We're seeing Pump betas outperform any other betas as well. And even people like myself, bro, we're getting absolutely on a lot of these fucking high fees tokens. You can't scalp the tokens. It's a beta of a beta. The founders aren't responding. You've got vibe coding devs launching a coin and they're not replying for 3 weeks. The valuations are just all over the place. It's gonna get flipped, right, by a dog or a cat or a random like by a beefer guy that's at like 30 million, right? That's what people will just decide to bid, and that's where people will go. In my opinion, they will rotate back to Pump Fund if we don't start to see some major competitive edge. And I'm very excited to see where this types of stuff goes, right? So that's my thoughts. A lot of news, a lot of things covered. The ecosystems right now are going absolutely insane. I am very excited to see where things go, right? And I do know that maybe you trading right now, you're up and down a lot. I would highly suggest you diversify, learn some new skills. Join the trenches, right? You'll find a link for that below. If you join the trenches right here, we cover everything. We cover VIP trades, right? Which is like trade alerts and stuff like that. We give you leverage trades and market analysis as well. We actually spoke about this specific level of Bitcoin and exactly where we will bounce from. We bounce from that exact level ahead of time, right? We also give one-to-one help, everything like this, all inside of the trenches, whether you're a beginner, whether you advance, whether you trade leverage, whether you trade meme coins, whether you just want to join a community and get some alpha. This community is the fucking community that you need to join today, right? Today, because we only have, in my opinion, as I've already said, a few months left of this market cycle. You'll find a link in the description. You can also put !VIP. You can go ahead and join today. It's literally like less than 1 Solana a month at this rate. And if you want to pay crypto, just pick the 6-month option. You'll be able to join. You also have my free Telegram group where I rant, I share lifestyle, I fucking live in the trenches. I actually give my thoughts here as well. This is one of my most recent thoughts, right? I said this, which is exactly backing up what I'm saying today. Funny, right? I was down the exact same amount in Solana that I am down today before I found about minus $30,000 just on new creations right now. seems fucking wild that this is happening again. But, right, the difference this time compared to last time is I'm actually up over $200,000, right, on longer trades. 100K on leverage, right, and $200,000 on the Jupiter ecosystem and some other majors that I've been trading on Pump Fund as well, right? But it still feels the same this time, right? I don't like losing money to random scammers online, right? I really hate it, right? When it's like, yes, we're a viral app and it's got all of this stuff and they're saying all this waffle and then you blast the chart because obviously volume, you got to get an entry. Look at Nyan yesterday. If you just blasted it at 2 mil, it's at 8 mil now. It's like fucking 45 seconds before you figure out what the fuck's going on. You have to just be, that's just how it is in meme coin trading. You're either in it to win it or you're not, right? Or you buy at the price you deserve, right? And then by the time you figure it out, you're like, oh shit, this dev's either a fake account, doesn't exist, or it's not true what the fuck he's saying, right? It's just, the shit's just not working, right? I hate that type of stuff. But that's just part of the game, guys, right? Even Trump, when Trump first came out, everybody told me Trump was a lie, right? They said, oh, why would the president launch a meme coin? Oh, it's this and that. Oh, it's a Meteora. It's just a bunch of FUD, right? We put the money where the mouth is. We made $300,000 on one account and a bunch more on other accounts as well, right? Insane, right? Same thing which is happening now with a lot of the other meme coins out there as well. You just have to take that risk, okay? But the reason why I'm in a so much more better position now is because I've diversified. I'm not just focused on new creation, right? I'm not just focused on large caps. I'm not just focused on leverage, okay? I've spread my attention across these different assets. I've also started to purchase other assets IRL as well, like cars, watches, stuff like that. This is the type of stuff you can take a leaf out of my book from and you can start to do it. And we show you all of that stuff inside of the trenches. You'll find a link for that in the description as well as a link to trade on Blowfin, etc. Right? So if you enjoyed this type of video, if you enjoyed these market updates, please let me know. I've covered literally all the news and all of that has came out in just the past 24 hours. Pump fund stuff, bag stuff. Yeah, obviously the new updates on Pump, live trades as well, new things breaking out, ETH's breaking out, almost about to break out all-time high. This fucking space is insane right now. Insane. And it might be overwhelming to a lot of you guys to even retain all of that information and understand all that information and know how the fuck to execute it without just copy trading, you know, a bunch of random wallets online thinking that they know what they're doing, right? They're all trying their best as everybody else, right? So if you enjoy these new types of videos, news, announcements, updates, please let me know. I would love to speak about this type of stuff more. I actually prefer these videos than just live trading. I think live trading is great, but it's about teaching people how to fish and not just fishing and letting them watch and just get wrecked trying to, you know, copy trade as well.